boy. Yeah. Yeah, he's a good boy. Look at him, everybody. Yeah, Pablo. Mwah. What a good boy. Yes, he is. Right. Boy, what a good. Let's make sure we do that, Pig P Man. There you go. Let's pop this guy out here. Ooh, you okay? You okay there, buddy? There we go. All right, cool. See if we can't pop this out, Pablo. There we go. Do like that, big man. Hey, Harry. What's going on? Chicago. That big man Pops. Hey. All right, cool. Right on. Hey, here comes the star of the show. Come here. Come here. Here he comes. Can anyone? Oh, look, Pablo. Hey, it's Pablo. Hey. Hey. Oh. My name's Pablo. My name's Pablo. Pablo, how are you? Pretty good. Hey, yeah. Pablo's doing just fine, Dennis. He's put on some pounds this Christmas holiday, aren't you, buddy? Yep. I gave him ham. Hey, right on, Harry. Sold house in awesome guy from California. Shocking. You get a good Daniel? Did you get a good price for it, Harry? Hey, Pinehurst, North Carolina. Is that where Pinehurst is? My name's Pablo. So I did controversial videos. Probably my most controversial was talking about the insanity that is a college football playoff, which is not a playoff. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that guy. Yeah. Well, that's good, Harry. Congrats, man. So y'all settled in now and okay? Everybody's happy? Oh yeah. There you go, bud. Raleigh, best place to park money. Raleigh, North Carolina is the best place to park money for 3 to 6 months? I don't get it. Actually, but tell you what, I'm going to move myself out of the way for a second. We're going to go to US. Bear with me just a second, folks. We're going to go to USAA. Cool. I'm going to share my screen here in just a second when we get back on. Hold on just a second. Okay. There we go. Oklahoma State game. Hey, Harry's giving me a granddad. How awesome is that? Awesome, Harry. Congrats. It was a good matchup of the Oklahoma-Ohio State game. King County, Washington in the house. We got a message in review. Okay, what's that about? Rick says, can I send you a PayPal? Yeah, absolutely. I haven't been on much email the last couple of days, Rick, but I will absolutely get that out there to you. Cheryl's coming from Texas too, right on. Coastal North Carolina rocks, okay, right on. Yeah, my uncle moved from Alexandria, Virginia down there. He enjoys it. Cheryl B from Texas. What part of Texas are you writing in from, Cheryl? All right, Secure Act. Yeah, let's talk about that for sure. So we'll make sure we discuss Secure Act. I'm not a fan of it. Look, I'm not against. It's just not that big of a deal. Where are you going, bub? All right. So let's start with the Secure Act. All right. Look, the Secure Act. I did a video on this that talks about how it benefits the insurance companies, and the reason. Do I have my whiteboard? Yeah, okay, sweet. Got my whiteboard. All right. The reason Georgetown, Texas, right on. So you're not from Georgetown, Texas, right, Cheryl? Because I know Georgetown's gotten huge from transplants moving in. Fairfield County, Connecticut. Hey, Warren. So isn't that's where Mary Hampton's from? Fairfield County, Connecticut, too, as a matter of fact. Hold on a second. Where'd you go there, P? Everyone just left to go to. They went to Barnes and Noble to buy some books, which I tell you, man. I'm going to do a list. Well, Harry just said he's going to be a grandpa for the first time, but I'm going to do a list of books that my kids read. Now, remember, I got 4. I have one with major dyslexia, and he doesn't have. Well, he still has. It's kind of like I'm an alcoholic. I'll always forever be one, but he can read like a champ now. And if you're looking for books for your children, or probably more of you all do, your grandkids, you're like, I don't even know where to begin. My wife said, hey, you should do that. I said, that's a good idea, just to let people know about books that initially we thought for dyslexic kids. And I said, look, I think people are always looking for books for just children, generally speaking, because we do worry that there's not enough reading going on. So I'll put an email out here in the next couple of days of books, maybe the top 5 books that my oldest reads. She's big into Agatha Christie. Chloe, my 16-year-old, she just got a couple of books for Christmas that she's already read. Liam likes anything Tom Brady, anything football, anything tennis. He likes, what's his name, Federer. And then Kevin likes comic books. He's my dyslexic kid. All right. Anyway, so I'll send that out. 60 degrees today in Indiana. Right on, man. I tell you, give me CO2 or give me death. I love that global warming. Of course, the world temperatures don't have anything to do necessarily with CO2. So you can't say CO2 is causing that temperature, but we certainly like it. It's a whole lot better than being cold. All right, so let's take a gander here. And PEI, Prince Edward Island, is 26 degrees. And then in Peaks Island, where I am from, it is 33 degrees and it's snowing tonight. So there you go. All right. Upper Sandusky, Ohio's in the house. Winston-Salem, right on. What's on just some burgers. My wife, I bought myself from Costco. Yeah, right on, Dennis. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right on. Absolutely. I bought myself from Costco an air dryer. So my wife did some fish and chips, and then I had burgers for my kids. The Costco burgers are flipping awesome. I'm telling you right now. Look, the grass-fed beef stuff for steaks is fine, but if you buy like a half a cow or a quarter cow, it's good, but a lot of that fat is still in there. It's not as good as just buying it straight from Costco with the fat cut off. Brisket's different. Brisket's good because you want the fat on brisket. But I'm telling you, man, those grass-fed ground beef, the hamburgers on grass-fed, oh, they are so flipping awesome. I'm telling you, man, once you go grass-fed beef on hamburgers, you'll never, ever go back to corn-fed. It is so good. Oh, those Costco burgers, man, I could kill those things. I mean, to kill them in my belly. Oh, they taste so good. So that's all I had on there today. Jody, with just some burgers from Costco. And then my wife made this air fryer fish and chips, and it came out pretty good. She didn't use eggs for the flour mix, and next time we'll do that for sure. All right. So Starling says 84 in Hawaii. Right on, man. All right. So Secure Act. Let's talk about this. All right. If you actually looked at the Senate bill, now this isn't what is now the law, but it's flipping scary because the Senate bill had 5 years for non-spousal beneficiaries to liquidate the accounts. 5 flipping years. And that's nuts. So that means if I were to die and Charlotte dies simultaneously and leave it to our kids, they have 5 years for which that account needs to be exhausted. And the problem with that, of course, is let's just say $100,000. If they're taking $100,000 out, that $100,000, over 5 years is $20,000 a year, which is added to their ordinary income. And when we die, most likely I'll be in my 80s, she'll be in her 70s, and most likely our kids will be in their 50s. Good boy. I'll just show you that little monkey over there. Hello, Pablo. Can you say hi? Don't you just love him? It's funny how much, if you would have asked us 6 months ago today, or 6 months ago, if we'd have a dog, we would have said, nope. And yet there we do. And who loves them the most? is my wife, which is crazy, which is fantastic. Could not be happier though, Pablo. Anyway, so thankfully the Senate one did not come to fruition. The House one, which is the Secure Act, which is the bill, is a 10-year distribution. So the problem is, I'm just telling you, when you die and leave money to your heirs, if that's it's going to happen, because most people aren't going to spend enough because they're so damn worried about running out of money in retirement. Your heirs have 10 years to which to exhaust that asset base. Mostly, they're going to inherit it at their most highest income perspective, their income time. I mean, literally, I make more money now than I did 20 years ago. Most of you will make more money in your 50s than you did in your 30s, and so on. And so most people who receive inheritance are going to be in their 50s and 60s, which is the time, they don't need the money mostly. Some people will, but certainly the time mostly when they're making the most income, which means it can be high subject to income tax. And remember, an IRA is what's called IRD from a tax perspective, income with respect to decedent. Now, annuities are like this too. So that just means the recipient has to pay the ordinary income tax on the distributions because the owner, your parent, essentially, did not. I know that's confusing as all can be, but anything that is received an annuity or an IRA or 401k is IRD, subject to ordinary income on the very first penny, unless it was a non-deductible IRA. But most of these are not non-deductible. So that's confusing, but I get it. It doesn't matter how confusing it is. The tax law is that they're going to crunch you when it comes time to receive that benefit to your heirs at your death. So that's bad. There's nothing good about that at all. Now, frankly, I don't have any qualm with that, frankly. I don't. The reason for that is because the IRA was never intended to be a inheritance tool for children and grandchildren. The whole thing with the stretch IRA was wonderful while it lasted, but that was never the point of this stuff. It never was. And so you could make it a case that most people who are using the stretch IRA were the upper income folks. So it was more wealthier people are taking advantage of the tax code than was intended for sure, because most poor people, they don't have that much, so leaving to their heirs anyway. So it's a very good benefit for the upper income, and I don't have a qualm with that. But an IRA is literally a retirement plan. That's what's there. It's a retirement plan. It's not to pass the generations for estate planning. But be it as it may, that's what was used because of the law. It's kind of like the old file and suspend with Social Security. Social Security file and suspend. The people who did that were the upper income people. The people who could suspend because they had enough money in which to do that. And B, the people who actually had the education to know about file and suspend. Let me close this door. So because of that, they got rid of the rules to equalize the tax code, which I don't qualm with that. None. In fact, if we look in 2014, the Supreme Court unanimously from Sotomayor and RBG all the way up to my man Clarence Thomas, who I met, by the way, at George Mason at the economics department, because he was waiting to talk to Walter Williams. And I just happened to see him and started talking with him. Did not know it was Clarence Thomas. We were talking the Redskins or the Bullets. I can't remember. We were talking sports. And then we left. Somebody said, that's Clarence Thomas. I said, holy crap. Clarence Thomas is about a little bit shorter than me, if memory serves. I'm 5'9". I think he was my size. I just thought he would be this giant of a guy. He wasn't huge. But anyway, so Sotomayor and Clarence Thomas, everybody in between, they ruled in favor that IRAs, non-spousal beneficiaries, will not receive credit protection from IRAs they receive through inheritance. So because that, we know we can see this a mile away that the IRA extension where you could have stretch IRAs, that was all falling apart. All right, so that's, be it as it may, that's what it is. But the biggest one, that sucks, but I don't have any qualm with it. The biggest one is the RMDs, moving those from 70 to 72. That is bad because everyone and their mom would be like, now I don't have to take distributions till I'm 72, yay! I don't know if they changed the tables. I can't remember if they changed the tables on that or not. I'm looking to see if we have new tables on the IRA RMDs. I don't think, hold on just a second. New RMD tables, RMD tables. Let's see, hold on just a second. All right, so the proposed, I'm at kisses.com now. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the new, I'm getting old. I'm getting blind in my old age. All right, so the new tables are 20 at 72. It'd be 27.4 will be the divisor, or 27.3, excuse me. So it'll be a 3.6% distribution they have to take out when you're 72, whereas right now it was 3.91. So it's slightly lower. But anyway, so what you do is you take your account balance at the end of 2000, at the end of your 70, at 31 December of that year when you're 71, divide it by 27.3, and that will give you about a 3.67% distribution that you have to take out. So not much of a difference there. Anyway, so what happens now? People are gonna say, "Oh, I got 2 extra years. I don't have to take money out," and that's just bad. That's a big mistake. Now, the best thing though, what it does allow you a couple extra years in which to defer taking money, Social Security, and defer taking IRAs out as well. So I mean, and to give you more IRA distributions out. So instead of, I mean, you can't take Social Security beyond 70, but now you get 2 extra years where you can do some planning along the lines of deferring Social Security till 70, and you have 2 years where you have Social Security plus you can do Roth conversions or just IRA distributions. So that gives you a little bit more flexibility. It's just not a big deal because most people are going to say, "I could get to defer even longer, great," and then it's just they're going to get killed from the tax. I mean, the widow's tax trap, what I talk about all the time. The biggest thing about the Secure Act is how much the insurance companies benefit from it. I sit there and I don't know why the industry and the academics are so keen on having annuities inside IRAs and 401ks and all that. I don't get it, man. I mean, I look at the National Institute for Retirement Security. They're sponsored by TIA. They're sponsored by, I think, Prudential. I can't remember. They're sponsored by all the companies who benefit from having more people buy their freaking product. It's just as crazy. And they're a big put. Teresa, I've been bashing on her because she's a big, I mean, she's creating the crisis that doesn't exist and she's perpetrating it. And she has the ear of people in DC. And so because of that, she's big on these things that we need to remove your ability to manage your own money and then annuitize everything essentially. And of course, the insurance companies love that stuff because that's another way, because no one buys annuities. Annuities are always sold. No one buys them. And the academics are huge. I like income annuities. I do. But the way these academics are, just pounding the table for these things, it's just weird to me. I've never seen anything like that. It's just strange how adamant they are about pounding the table on income annuities. I don't know. It's just odd. But anyway, at the end of the day, so now we're going to have more insurance companies having the ability to provide income annuities inside retirement plans, removing the liability of the employer necessarily to make sure to police up the freaking crappy products that exist. I just did a couple videos, 2 videos last couple of days on variable annuities and how insanely confusing they are. And so if the insurance company has access to 401k employer-sponsored plans, then the employer has no liability here. I mean, you think the insurance company is going to look at your best interest? I mean, geez. And look, if you haven't been in business, you don't know how insurance companies operate. I'm telling you. I remember going to conferences in the early to mid 2000s where the first thing insurance companies would say to the sales force that they're trying to solicit business for them was, our commissions are 10 and 6 and 8%. I mean, I'm telling you, as always, look, Allianz, I'll never forget these guys. Another one out of Minnesota Life Company or something like that. Our commissions are higher than anyone else's commissions. That's the first thing they say to these people gathered in these conferences. If you think that's still not the case, where they're like, "Oh, no." I mean, I don't know what the ramifications are for commissions. I have no idea. But I mean, I'm telling you, the employer can shield their hands that we're not liable, and the insurance company has access to it. And even worse, because the academics, because everyone in DC has been pounding the table like Khrushchev at the UN, banging their shoes on the table, we will bury you. The thing that's going to happen here is that they're going to say, an employer says, we're going to offer these plans because not to do so, we feel, could make us even more liable for not allowing our employees access to what the academics all believe is a safe and responsible plan. So now no employer is going to want to hold that wet bag that says they did not offer an income stream, an annuity, to shield the employees from the risk. And so everything is against the average Joe here. Everything is for the employer in some regard, but mostly in the insurance companies. Now, they also have this thing stupid. Everyone's like, all these people the idea that has been permeating, that lack of access to retirement accounts is what keeping people down. That's what's keeping the freaking boots on their neck and keeping them down, man. It's keeping them down. It's the freaking biggest, stupidest thing in the world. It's as stupid as the freaking NCAA college football playoff, which doesn't exist. Having a lack of access doesn't mean anything, man, because everyone has access to an IRA, a Roth IRA, a good old-fashioned bank account, and a brokerage account right now. Everyone does. So lack of access to retirement accounts through an employer is not what's keeping people from saving money. And so now the Secure Act says, oh, we can let all these different firms get together and offer employer-sponsored plans, and that will give more access. Whoop-de-flip-and-do. If people don't have the cash flow because of stupid student loans out there, and they're freaking have these insane car loans, all the access in the world doesn't mean crap. Just because you have, it's the stupidest thing. It's kind of like health, health insurance does not equate to health care. You can have all the health insurance you want. If you don't have someone to provide it to you because they made the doctors go out of business because they're reducing their fees, I don't give two craps what your health insurance is. You got no health care. Health care is what matters. Saving money is what matters. Access doesn't mean crap. It's insane. So anyway, that's my thing on the Secure Act. And everyone's like, oh, it's the most revolutionary retirement thing since 2005 with the Pension Protection Act. Freaking pox on all of them. Pox on all of them. All right. So let's keep going here. That's my thing on Secure Act. It's literally, it could mean nothing. It's meaningless. It's meaningless other than it's going to be negative on taxes. It's going to be negative on employees because the insurance companies can be run roughshod on these guys. And it's going to make, Grandma Jones say, I can defer from taking from my IRA a couple extra years, not recognizing she's going to this whipsaw called freaking taxes later on down the road. All right. Warner Robins GA, right on. All right. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a sec. I saw something else in here too. Hold on a second. All right. I think what Stuart was saying is best place to park money for 3 to 6 months. I just, if you have a credit union, dump it in your credit union without question. Okay, hold on. Watching from the air travel in Seattle, LA. Right on, Rick. Hey, that's pretty cool, man. You're in the air right now. That's nuts. I'm on an airplane with old Rick. All right, cool. Marie from PA in the house. Is the bet? Oh, I just got my thing from American Funds about their capital gain distribution. Oh man, I don't know what to do with it. Is the best time to buy a mutual fund at the end of the year? I don't know, man. Jody, I mean, there's lots of theories on this, and all these theories, like there used to be the theory that you'd want to wait. Was it wait or buy at the end? I can't remember. This changes so much now. All the mutual fund managers are cleaning up their crap at the end of the year. So their annual report that comes out at the beginning of the year, they won't have some crappy stock in their holdings. And people say, why did you keep, I don't know, GE, whatever it is. Actually, what is GE doing lately? Let's take a look. I haven't looked at it. And so there's some thought process that there'd be some forced selling at the end of the year, which meant there could be some buying. It was called the December effect or the January effect. Now it's like the November effect. I can't remember what it was, but the idea was that you could buy, GE's at 11.18. That's funny. The idea was, look at that. Shocking. Yeah, but Liam, my son's at Barnes and Noble, and man, having kids is a blessing I cannot describe. So Liam just texted me that he's at Barnes and Noble. He says, wow, Trump haters. And it's a book from, he literally just texted me that. Oh, that is awesome. He says, wow, Trump haters. There's a book from, I'm not sure who the author is. It says, crap Trump says, flips, flops, flattery, and falsehood from our 45th president. And I'm not sure who the author is, but oh, that's fantastic. Exceptional value, only $7.98. Oh, man. I love it. All right, so what we're talking about, best time. All right, so Jody, so there used to be something called, I think it's the January effect, and everyone said, oh, the January effect. I can beat the January effect by going to December. So then it was the December effect, and I'm not sure if it's November effect. I don't know, but the drawback about buying at the end of the year, you just want to make sure it already paid its dividends and capital gains. And I would imagine, what's the 29th, right? Yeah. I would imagine that's the case. That all that stuff has been paid. So if it's in a taxable account, I don't think you should worry about it. But do your diligence before you buy that puppy, because if it hasn't paid it, and it was an X, most dividends and mutual funds, mutual funds go X, usually the third week in December. So you should be fine. But if you buy a fund, and I don't know what we'll say, you bought Josh Scanlon's crappy old fund, and I go X on December 30th, that means you would be of record to pay the tax in this year, and you don't want that. There's a lot going on there, but just buy the fund. Just make sure you're not buying a dividend. And I've done videos on that. I don't want to get too deep in that here today, but I don't think I had time in terms of like when's the best time. You just want to make sure you don't buy a taxable bank. Am I still, yeah, Mike, 5 years, 20% a year. That's no, right on. It is. Well, now it's still 10 years, 10% a year. It's not quite as criminal, but they got to raise the money somehow. Anyway, am I still against mutual funds and taxable accounts? Absolutely. I currently hold VDIGX in my taxable, and it doesn't have a terrible high turnover. But it's going to have dividends. And I own VDIGX too. And so white shoes. Calm down, white shoes. Calm down, Pablo. So yeah, I am against it. Simply because of dividends, you're gonna have to pay tax on, and there's no reason to do that. Come here. If you can avoid it. Now, at the end of the day, if you already own it and you have a big position, we don't want you selling that to, and incurring a big capital gain. But I just like ETFs. ETFs should be, so for me, white shoes, I have my VDIGX in my IRA. I don't have a Roth, just FYI. As much as I talk about a Roth, I don't have one. Simply, I was going to convert this year, everything, and then I just made a whole lot more money than I anticipated. It's been great. So much obliged to every single person who's here, and all just being here pays me. It doesn't, every video I do get something, maybe a penny, 25 cents. One video I did pay me $1,500 last year. So I appreciate it. But at the end of the day, I just made so much money this year that, and that's humble brag, I guess, I don't know, but I wasn't adding to my tax. So I don't have any Roth IRA, and I didn't make that much money last year. So I was going to convert it all this year and be done with it. But literally just right out the gate, I said, I'm already making more than I anticipated. I just don't want to add fuel to the fire there. So for me, I just got my brokerage account, which I have VBK. I'm not saying you should buy that. Not saying anyone should buy it. I'm going to have a fund called a PABLO. So it's got 5 tickers, PABLO, 5 letters on this ticker. That means it's a mutual fund. I'm going to have the Pablo fund. And we're going to have the Pablo fund. But anyway, if it's an ETF, it'll probably have 3 symbols. VBK is a Vanguard Small Cap Growth ETF. VDIGX is 5 letters. That's a mutual fund. So from simplicity, you want to say it's got 3 or 2 even. I think I can't remember. But if it's 2 or 3, generally speaking, that'll be an individual stock or an ETF. It's got 5. It's a mutual fund. And so you want those mutual funds in your brokerage, your Roth or your traditional IRA or 401k. You want VBK. So I have M1. I use M1 Finance. I got VBK in my brokerage account, and everything else is in my IRA, which is I think it's VTV, the Vanguard Value Growth Fund, Large Cap Value Fund, and then VDIGX. That's all I got. Those 3 accounts, those 3 funds. Haven't found a new table. Yeah, this, if you go to this on Kitsis, kitsis.com, if you just type in, what did I type in? This proposed new table. So it's just kitsis.com, proposed new table. So, and I'm not sure who wrote that article. Anyway, it's Dateline. I don't see a date on here. Anyway, if you go to kitses.com, you'll find it. It's not, that hasn't been approved yet by the IRS. It just proposed. Yeah, man, 2020 is here. It's to the tennis. Who won, Brian? Are the Patriots playing the freaking Titans or the Steelers? Ugh, freaking Patriots. The Patriots can be one and done, man. I'm telling you. Hold on just a second, my friends. Please tell me the Steelers are not going to the play. I hope the Steelers aren't going to the playoffs. Come on, man. Hold on just a second. Yes. All right. So the Steelers are out. Thank goodness. So we'll play Tennessee. I'd much rather play Tennessee than Pittsburgh, because I can't stand Pittsburgh. All right. Whew, that's good. Of course, the Patriots will probably get smoked by we're going to play Tennessee. I say we because I'm on the team. I think we'll beat Tennessee. But man, they got a good running game. And then we'll get smoked by Baltimore. You heard it here first. I think we'll beat Tennessee, but we'll get smoked by the Ravens. And that'll probably be it. That'll probably be it for a touchdown Tommy. Crazy. All right. Yeah, 2020. I did if you're not part of my email thing, I did a post today where I linked to this guy, Matt Ridley. Bear with me just a second. I tell you, man, and he has this article that says 2000, the last decade was the best decade in human history, literally. And it's easy to, and I'm listening to this podcast. Hold on a second here. I want to see if I can't find this guy's article. Yeah, right here. Okay. Oops, hold on just a second. There we go. Why is it not opening? Okay, here we go. Hold on just a second. So this is Matt Ridley's article. Now, this is the Global Warming Policy Forum. So for you climatistas who are worried about CO2 and whatnot, you're not going to like the GWPF website, thegwpf.com. But Matt Ridley talks about, just little is made of the news because good news is no news. We've just had the best decade in human history. I find this to be incredible, and not to see that is I don't know what it is to be perpetually living in fear. Why would the next decade be any worse? It's crazy. Now, individuals, if you lost somebody and, maybe got addicted to freaking heroin, I don't, but humanity as a whole, it's been incredible. It's been incredible. And it's funny too, because you think about it, those of us who are fearful of Obama and those of us who are fearful of Trump, we're all wrong. Obama didn't take guns. Trump isn't throwing gay people off buildings. The whole thing is silly. And so to follow the fear mongers is to hide from the truth. And I think we should stop doing that for sure. Now, there's some things you got to be worried about. The Green New Deal is insane, but at the end of the day, the likelihood of that happening is so small. I just want to sweat it. All right. So, right on, Brian. So I'm looking forward to 2000 and the next decade. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you all are too. I had Pablo up here a bunch. I hope you see him now. Mike says, I'm surprised they don't make 72 this. Well, we don't know exactly what the new table is going to be, Mike, on the new RMD table. So don't hold your breath until that comes out. We got Rick says, are most couples better to do Roth conversion because of the widow's tax trap? Yes, that's the answer. That's unequivocally yes. Again, there always situation dictates, folks. I've had more than I would have anticipated people who've hired me as a financial planner. It just did not make all that much sense to do Roth conversions because they had pensions. The issue is the golden years from 60 to 70, and regardless what the RMD tables are, 60 to 70 is when Social Security kicks in. So if you can minimize, if not absolutely extinguish your IRAs and 401ks and move it over to Roth between 60 and 70, That's freaking the golden ticket, man. The drawback is if you have pensions, it's a wonderful problem to have, but the pension eats alive your standard deduction, and so you don't get that much of tax-free money you can move over to a Roth in the because the pension it takes away from it. So because of that, you're immediately in the 10% bracket, if not higher. And so the pension is when that might not be the case, Rick, but the answer is more often than not, absolutely. A couple should do the Roth conversions because of the widow's tax trap. On top of the tax on Social Security, on top of the taxes on qualified dividends, long-term capital gains, as you get higher and higher with RMDs, on top of the IRMA. My man John just wrote from Oregon, who walks around the Intel plant, and he says Intel is still putting up freaking buildings like crazy in Oregon. He talks about IRMA and stuff like that too. So it's, I mean, he sent me an email on that just a few minutes ago. By the way, I do check your emails. I mean, folks, I get emails a lot. I read them all. Many are very long, and I just don't have the time to respond. I read them, but if I don't respond, doesn't mean I'm blowing you off, or doesn't mean that I hate you or anything like that. I do read them. I'm not going to show the email that John sent me, but it's 3 or 4 paragraphs. But it's great, and I'm much obliged. And then I got another one who just found me on YouTube, and he just wanted me to know that this is Dave. He just says, I want you to know you're making a difference. Keep up the good work, what you're doing. I now know I have a bright future ahead due to the choices. Probably because he's new to the thing, I'll probably say thanks to email. But I won't. Simply don't have the time or capacity to email everybody back. But I do read your emails, by the way. Vic says, if I'm doing the 4% distribution plan for my IRA, does RMD have an impact? Yeah, absolutely. Because if we look at the proposed, not even the proposed tables, but the old, so if you look at the tables, the old tables here, hold on just a sec right here. So here are the old tables. Oops. Oh man, what she just, all right, there we go. So when you're 86, Vic, it's a 7.1% distribution rate. So yeah, 4% won't get the job done, because you're going to break 4% really when you're 73. A 73 is 4.05. So the minute you hit 73 under the old tables, you're going to have more than 4% distribution. So yeah, you got to pay attention to RMDs. Insurance companies can go bankrupt too. Hey, right on, man. Happy New Year, you too, Zachary. Sergio, the insurance companies will cover each other's back. Yeah, I 100% agree with Sergio, and I agree with you too. Fear. Whoever said insurance company, Scott Chandler, who played for the Buffalo Bills. Insurance companies can't go bankrupt, but like Sergio says, insurance companies will cover each other's derriere. I'm French, derriere. Watch this. I got my hot tea. I can see how I got my finger like that. We're going to cover our derrieres. Because 100%, because the issue with insurance is you're relying on the unknown, that if something were to happen, the insurance company is going to be in such a place that they can pay off. And if the minute that gets squandered, the faith in the company to maintain itself, no one's going to buy insurance anymore. It's kind of like the banks in Argentina, for instance. The minute the freaking banks started taking people's money because of forced liquidation, whatnot, with the Cristina Fernandez insanity, people say, I'm not using the banks anymore. A lot of Latin American countries don't trust the banks because they're corrupt as all can be, and the government takes the money. And so the minute that they lose that level of trust, it's over. It's over, because remember, you're paying for something that hopefully you don't see. And you're like, why would I pay that if not only am I not going to see it, but the likelihood of my error seeing is nil. So insurance companies scratch each other back. And if you look at the Great Depression, insurance companies, they made it so insurance companies did not go the route of the banks. Insurance companies said, we've got to be there. There's a couple insurance companies that are in the world of hurt right now. And there were variable annuity companies. I forgot what they were. And other insurance companies are stepping in to kind of rescue them under the cover of darkness. Because again, insurance companies, they know if we lose our ability to hold people to say we aren't risky. If we lose that, we're dead. And so that's right. Mark says for 2020, should I rebalance to a 50-50 portfolio because of fear of a major correction? Mark, I don't know. That question bores me to death, to be honest with you. I hear it all the time. We had a fear of a major correction literally a year ago when I was doing this, and we didn't have it. So I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, the question is, I mean, there's always a major correction coming down the pike. So go 50-50. It makes you sleep better at night. I don't have any qualm with that, but I don't know why you would say 2020 is a fear of a major correction. 2019 was a fear of a major correction. 2016, I was just reading that Paul Krugman. If you follow Instapundit, he always refers back to Paul Krugman when he says, basically sell your stocks when Trump got elected because we'll never recover. Some other left-wing guy said, I'm selling my stocks, my 529 plans. In case Trump gets elected, you should do the same. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, it comes and it goes, but I don't believe in market timing because of a worry about a recession or a correction, just because of the likelihood of that happening. A, we know one is going to happen. B, is it going to happen when you think it is? I don't know. So I just don't know how to answer that. I would not, frankly. But do what you got to do. Whatever makes you sleep better at night, man. I don't care. I mean, that's the issue. It's like, why? I was reading some guy bet $74,000 on the Patriots to beat the Dolphins, just up, no points or anything, just straight up. He lost $74,000, but you know what he would have won if the Patriots won, if the Pats won? He would have won $4,500. Like that's a freaking stupid bet. Why risk $75,000 to get $4,500? I mean, that's just stupid. And it's the same kind of thing. You got to look at your overall position. Are you doing okay? If you're doing okay financially, why take the risk? I mean, literally, I don't understand people. I mean, you might like stocks better than bonds. I'm fine with that. And then be risky. It's not risk to own stocks, but I say to people all the time, who are worried, I say, but you're not run out of money. You're fine. Why bother with the risk of the stock market? It doesn't make sense to me. Now, on the other hand, I personally believe in stocks because I believe in capitalism. So I would rather be in stocks than bonds. I don't believe in bonds, but I do my barbell approach. Got enough to last 3 years in cash and enough to last the rest of the stocks and be done with it. That's just me. But why risk $74,000 to gain $4,500? If that makes sense. That's what it comes down to. Ray Bruce, Rochester, New York in the house. The Rochester Americans. Oh man, Rajiv just got outsourced from the company he was working for. Man, Rajiv, that's I need my trusty calculator, which I don't see. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Rajiv sounds like an Indian name. The only reason I say it is my man Amar Shah, who's from San Diego. He told me how he got outsourced, and he's was it when your parents are from India and you are born in America? Is that first generation? Like I'm second gen. I can't remember. But anyway, and he was telling me, we chuckled. He's saying how he got outsourced because his company moved to India. Even though he's Indian descent, even though he's 100% American. And I just see Rajiv and I said, oh man, it happens to all Americans of all races, all creeds, all religions. Outsourcing sucks, man. There's no other way around that. I actually got a lady email me or put a comment on the YouTube channel that she is an RN, I think is what she said, and got outsourced, not to India, but to AI. And I said, holy crap, she works for the biggest insurance company in America. I don't know what that would be, Blue Cross, I guess. And she says licensed clinicians or whatever and RNs are being outsourced not to India, but to artificial intelligence. I said, that's freaking nuts. All right. So anyway, Rajiv says he's got $45,000. Let me get my trusty calculator, which is just my phone here because I think I left my trusty calculator out some other place. 307,000 is his lump sum. So let me show you what I would do in this case. So we're going to draw this out here, Rajiv. We got 307,000. All right. So we're going to do 307. Oops, that's not good. Hold on just a second. So what we're going to do. All right. So we got 307. And then if he could get that as a lump sum, or he could get 45 as a lump sum with $11.25 a month pension. And I don't know if that's a survivor or anything. We're just going to go off. He'll get $11.25 a month just on his life. So what we do is we take our trusty thing here, $11.25 a month times 12. That gives us $13.50 a month. I'm already not liking this. $13.50 a year, $13,500 a year. And then we take our 307. So we got 307 as lump sum minus the 45 he'd keep. So we take 307 minus 45. That gives us 262. All right, so he can take the lump sum or leave 45 as a lump sum and get $11.25 a month. Is that what we said? Yeah, which would give a $13,500 a year on $2,262,000. So what we do is we take $13,500, divide that by 262,000, and that gives us a 5.15% payout ratio, Rajiv. 5.15%. I wouldn't do that. I'd take the lump sum. Absolutely. No, I know you're still getting 45,000 that you can roll over to an IRA, but I would not. 5.15 is not good from a payout ratio. Now I don't know how old you are or anything like that, but again, if it's less than 6, my inclination is don't take the pension. That's for sure. In that case, I'd just take the 307 lump sum. HFK says, thanks to the videos. You got it, Mom. MGTOW, it's funny. I didn't know what MGTOW was. I had a guy, it might be you, my man. If you're from Chicago, it might be the same guy, MGTOW. And I always, I thought it was an African guy. I said, that sounds like an African name. I always kind of had this impression of an African guy from Chicago named MGTOW. It turns out MGTOW is not an African name. It's what I can't remember, whatever it is, for men in the men's rights movements or something like that. It was just, I chuckle at that. So anytime I see a consolidation of words into a saying like that, I always say, am I missing something? Like, what was the other one I was missing the other day that my daughter was telling me about? She goes, do you know what this was? I said, no. She goes, you're old. I said, okay, great. Doctors prey on sick people. Health insurance is the biggest problem in the U.S. Yeah. Why would you need a book of what Trump says? It's on the News 24/7. Because people want to make money, man. They know how to do it. They know how to do it. They don't look, man. Who's a guy from right-wing guy had written a book on Obama's accomplishments or something like that. And it was literally empty, or I can't remember what it was. It was just empty. It had literally no words in it. It just says like 200 pages of no words. And people bought it for Christmas to give to their anti-Obama friends. I said, so I mean, look, man, if there's a market, there's going to be a sales guy for the market. And so you could say, I'm giving this to all my Trump-hating friends, so we can say, yeah, that Trump. Or I'm giving this to all my Obama-hating friends, say, yeah, we got him. Look at that. Hey, whatever. It's what the beauty of capitalism, man. You got choices. Happy New Year, spectator. Right on, brother. Well, I agree with that, MGTOW. If you have health insurance, the doctors will tell you you're the sickest person in the world. Not all of them. Some will. I think I got this right here. Hold on just a second. Will that work? Hold on just a second. Oh. I got this, I can't remember what I got. It's a fan back. You can see that fan back there. It's remote control. I just turn on the fan, remote control. We are like, when I was growing up, my friends, we didn't have a TV for the first probably 10 years of my life. Then we had a small little Quasar that's about the size of, this little laptop right here. It had 3 channels, 6, 8, and 13. 6 was NBC, 8 was ABC, and 13 was CBS. And then you had 10, which is PBS, so that's a main. And then you had some UHF, which no one got or watched anyway. And then you had to actually get up, and this was a black and white TV. You had to get up from the couch and turn the thing. And half the time you didn't have good clear, it wasn't a good screen anyway. There's snow on the thing. And we didn't have, and then the TV, I think my dad got a user or something like that, and the volume went dead. So it's black and white with no volume. I remember sitting there with my brother on Friday nights watching The Incredible Hulk. And I did not know The Incredible Hulk. I mean, I knew because we read the comic books, but he was green, but you didn't see that on the black and white TV. I remember Lou Ferrigno. And so, but I remember still watching it because we didn't have TV up to that point. So you're sitting there thinking, man, This is great. It's like, great. When you're in hindsight, we had a tiny little quasar, black and white with snow all over it, no volume. And that was great because we had nothing back then. Now we got a freaking fan with a remote control that I just turned on. It's just, oh. And look, you can make it go, watch this. See that up and down? Just made it get even fanner or fannier or whatever to make the fan turn more. And you know how much a freaking fan, the electrical use of that is? It's nothing, man. It probably takes, hell, fan probably takes 30 watts, if that. All right, now that might be a little bit, well, I bet that fan is, I bet if you plugged a kilowatt in there, you say that takes 30 watts. Maybe, I bet not even 30 watts. Yeah, maybe. I mean, just think about it. The idea that we are destroying the planet with a 30-watt fan, LED lights that we're using here. This LED right here is probably 3 watts. It's 15 watts. Sorry, 15-watt LED light, which I turn on anytime I do a video. So it's probably on 30 minutes a day. So that's literally, was that 7.5 watts a day? That's, geez Louise. It's insane. And going back to that Matt Ridley thing, he talks about in England, they're using less stuff on a real basis, not per capita, literally less stuff now, consuming less than they did, I think he said, at the turn of the century or something like that. So they have more people and they're actually consuming less stuff on a real basis. That's insane. Insane. You guys don't want to hear all that. All right, well, I don't agree with the fear of the turtle. He said he'd always opt for the total, not a pension. I don't agree with that at all. I think it depends on what the payout rate is. I was talking to a lady from California, I think, and she was getting like a 7.9% payout rate. I would think you'd be crazy not to take that. It depends what the payout rate is. So again, if you have $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. You divide that into what your lump sum would be. We'll just say it's $100,000 a year. So 6,000 goes into, or 100,000 goes into 6,000. That's a 6% payout rate. That right there is kind of where I'm starting to think I go with the pension. If it's $400 a month, that's a $4,800 a year payout amount. Divide that 100,000 into that 4,800. That's only 4.8% payout rate. I would not do that. You see what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. Critical important. 6% is a line right there. If it's close to 5.8 to 6.2, I'm still probably doing the lump sum. Yeah, depends if I'm married, whatnot. But as I slowly go more and more towards the 7%, I'm doing the pension for sure. All right. Alberto, end of year, we do an asset allocation review and a year-end financial. Alberto and they do an end of the year review and a financial summary. These review and summary provides our financial position and destination and financial statement. Right on. Mary, we got another guy on here from your neck of the woods, Fairfield County, Connecticut. Is that Pablo part of the dogs of the town? Yeah, he's such a nut. I love that guy. We could, oops. Oh yeah, right on. We saw that. All right. Alberto says they convert to Roth. Any income gap in the 12% tax bracket. The new Secure Act is 2 more years of Roth conversion. Yep, I agree. Patriots are so weak today. Yeah, the Bills to Super Bowl and win. Bruce, oh my lads. Margaret says, all right. We love the Chiefs, Margaret. Last time, I didn't think you're ever going to come back because my man Tom from Houston deleted your thing or he made fun of it. It is fun. It's all fun. I am glad you're back. No Chiefs. We love you, Margaret. Just don't like the Chiefs. I mean, I do like watching the Chiefs. It's like watching a college football game. It's fun. I'm never been a Chiefs fan at all, but it's cool to see the Chiefs. I think their uniforms are classic. They don't change their freaking logo like the Patriots did. The stupid Dolphins. I saw a guy in Walmart today with the old school Dolphins. Remember the Dolphin with the M helmet? I was like, freaking, why would you change that other than because these guys want to sell more gear? I was like, man, that Dolphin with the M on his helmet, a helmet with an M, is freaking iconic, classic. Pat the Patriot. Why would you change that? Freaking Bob Kraft. Change it. Anyway, That freaking Abe Poland changed the washing of bullets to the washing wizards because there's guns in DC. Yeah, bull crap, Abe Poland. You did it to raise money. You know you did that, freaking. Super chat is curling GD British pound. Really? That's crazy, man. Let's see how we do that. What's up, big man? Super chat. Huh. I'm not sure how to. I'm not. That's weird. I appreciate that. HB is it HBK, HFK. I'm not sure what that's about. That is odd to me. I don't even know how to fix it. I'll try. I'll do that next time. I appreciate it, brother. Absolutely. But I just don't know how to change it. Sorry, man. But I guess I'm sorry because Pablo needs the money. But I appreciate it. I'll figure that out next time. I'm glad you told me that. Thanks. Thank you. Mike has a pension. He's still doing Roth conversions. Yeah, I mean, having a pension in of itself doesn't mean don't do Roth conversions. It just means it's not as favorable on the front end as what it would if you didn't have a pension. But yeah, I mean, if you're worried about taxes going up, and I think that's a good worry, then do the Roth conversions. Yeah, military pension, did not sign up for SBP, plan on doing Roth conversions. David, man, I heard this story a million times. As long as you have whole life, David. So David, all right, let's go. What's going on with David here? Retired military, he's got a pension. He did not take the SBP. That means he's not paying, was it $350 a month for the survivor benefit on his pension. So David gets hit by that bus, his better half won't get any of his pension money. Now, because that, he gets an extra, I think, $350 on his pension payout. And so what the argument would be is take that $350 and buy a life insurance policy. The argument is absolutely valid. It's a good argument to make because a lot of times the surviving, you will be the surviving spouse. You will. And if your wife dies before you, you've been paying all that money for the SBP for no reason at all. You see what I'm saying? And that doesn't do you any good. Now, the drawback is if it's universal life insurance, it's not guaranteed at all. In fact, there's a high probability in my experience. And I worked at USAA. I'm telling you, I've seen this with my own hands with USAA contracts. And USAA, they don't get paid huge commissions. There is no commissions. So USAA is about as fine of a shop as you get on that. But the contracts are falling apart all left and right because the interest rates are so low and the policies were underfunded. That's universal life. If it's whole life, that means as long as you make the premium payments, it is there literally for your whole life. There is no risk to you at all. There's none. The whole life a hell of a lot more expensive from a premium perspective. But if you actually have whole life as opposed to universal life, you're fine. You're fine. If you have UL, that's a bad thing because, well, it might not be bad. It depends how well the policy is funded and if it's what the interest rates are doing relative to what they showed you on their initial illustration. So folks, anybody who has a cash value or a permanent life insurance policy, please hear me. Request an in-force, like I'm going in the store, force, like the force be with you, an in-force illustration from your provider. And then have them read it to you. At least you don't have to read the whole thing to you, but go over it. What does this mean? What is the likelihood that this policy lapses before I do? And what that means is it ran out of money. It doesn't have enough money to support it anymore, which means the policy is dead. All the cash value put in there is dead. All the premiums you paid for not. And at your death, there is no more insurance there. You've got, and insurance companies do not send in-force illustrations. It freaking pisses me off. Now, what you will get if your policy is about to lapse, you'll get about 6 to 8, maybe 6 months to a year in advance. Hey, we're going to send you a letter that says, hey, this is USAA or freaking any life insurance company. And on top of all the other crap you get from your insurance company, you probably aren't going to read this, but the letter is going to say your policy is going to lapse unless you add more money to it or if you reduce your death benefit or something. And A, most people don't read them. B, they send it. You'll be 76 years old. You'll get this letter and you're like, man, whoa, what the hell's going on? And you'll call us. I wish I would have known about this before. I could have freaking planned for it. The whole thing's corrupt as it can be. And then what's going to happen is literally within 15 days of your policy lapse, and they'll pick up the phone to call you. And they'll say, hey, David, you need to dump $10,000 in this policy to keep it in force for another 3 years. You're like, dude, I'm only 76 years old. I plan on being around for another 10. All right, well, then if you want to keep it, you'd better dump 35,000. The whole thing is freaking insane. And these are the people the Secure Act is going to reward by giving them access to 401k plans. It's great. It's great to be an American. I love being America, but I know the politicians of both parties, they don't look for us. Let's just put it that way. They look for themselves. Anyway, my man D Moon says, has anyone been on TRICARE Retirement Reserve, TRICARE TFL, TRICARE for Life Path, or TRICARE Prime? There's David right there. Yeah, man, ask away on that stuff. I am not an expert on TRICARE for Life at all. I had a good friend of mine who moved to Florida from Georgia. And this actually freaking ticks me off. All kinds of things are ticking me off, apparently. Maybe it started with freaking Tom Brady thinking too much about his girlfriend, or what's her name, Giselle, as opposed to thinking about throwing a pass for a touchdown instead of getting field goals. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so this guy lived in Dallas, Georgia. Yes, there is a town called Dallas, Georgia. It's actually quite nice. On not this, I can't remember what county it is, but anyways, it's west of me, southwest. Anyway, my man is retired Air Force, and he could get treatment to save his life for TRICARE. And his wife was actually put behind Medicaid recipients in terms of wait list. And so they said, screw that, we're moving to Florida near Tampa, where there's military bases and VA hospitals. And I say, you got it. And this guy had some issues from combat that he needed to care on a not regular basis, but more than, just an annual checkup. And he says, look, they just, the people up here don't take TRICARE very seriously. And then when his wife, Jen, went to go get her checkups, they said, you're going to have to wait. Medicaid recipients, welfare comes before her. Infuriating. Yeah. All right. Thanks for the frame. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. That's what I want to do. All right. So speaking of USAA, you all right? You going to take a pee there or something, big man? You all right? I want to show y'all something here. All right. So I want to share my screen. Yeah. Okay. You all right? All right. We're going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you guys something from, let's get rid of this guy here. We're going to hide. All right. Did I do it? Right here. All right. So I want to show you all this right here from USAA. If you're a veteran or a USAA member, I love you, handsome. Do I not have myself up there? One sec. Show. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's kind of get rid of this. All right. I want to show you the Fran that my man Terry had asked about. And we're going to go to USA.com. We're going to type in FRANN and see what shows up here. I don't think I have to log in, right, to see. Yeah. Flexible environment. I'm not logged in. Right here. Okay, so flexible retirement annuity here, my friends. This is USAA. This is my favorite product right here. I love this is called Fran or Franny, a flexible retirement annuity. I want to show you this product right here. Oh, man, it's making me log in. I don't want to log in. Hold on a sec. Let's see. Yeah, okay, sweet. All right. Right, helps. Okay, so this is an annuity. Annuity, how dare you, Josh? All right, this annuity is the best thing since sliced bread. Going back to what my man had initially asked at the beginning of the session about where to dump some money in for the short term, this would not be good. Annuities are not good for anyone who's under 59 and a half. Annuities have the same distributions things as IRAs in terms of if you take it out before you're 59 and a half, there's a 10% early withdrawal penalty. So keep that in mind. This is for people who are over 59 and a half. All right, but there is no downside risk other than the solvency of USAA. All right, USAA is one of the strongest insurance companies. They're not going anywhere. It allows you to add money as often as you want. You got to start with $5,000. It allows you to add money as often as you want. Park that to your side for just a second. Remember what I said, it allows you to add money as often as you want after you start with your initial $5,000 initial deposit. All right. And then you can annuitize later on. Annuitizing means just turn into an income stream, an income annuity. That's not what we're talking about here. All right, now watch this. You start with up to $5,000, up to $10,000. You're getting all of 1%. No big deal. All right. So that's what's so good about that, Josh? That's no good. No, I agree. But watch if I can see the surrender right here. Here's a surrender charge. Let's take a look. All right. So you start with $5,000, and you can see in the 8th year or later, there's no surrender charge whatsoever. All right. So in the 8th year, if you were to take out your contract, how much would you pay in surrender charges? Big fat goose egg. You with me so far? So I start with $5,000 today. I don't plan on touching this for 7 years, because if I do touch it, I have to pay surrender charge on, some pretty significant surrender charge to take money out before the 7 years are up. In year 8, though, it's completely free of any surrender charge. Or you're with me? So in year 8, I can take the money out the very next day without surrender charge, right? Okay. Now, there is taxes. Remember, all annuities are LIFO, last in, first out. So anytime you take a distribution, you have to pay income tax first on the interest that you've received before your principal comes back at you. Hold on just a second. Oh, man. All right, come here, Bubs. Yeah, we just went potty, buddy. All right, so remember, though, all right? So we said we can take money out after year 7 without any penalty whatsoever. And then we also said, allows you the flexibility to add money as often as you want. All right. So now let's say year 8 comes around. What was our surrender charge? Nothing. All right. So year 8, I say, I have no surrender charge, but I can add money as often as I want. And let's just say I'm going to dump in $500,000 just for simplicity. What's my interest rate? 2.05. Interesting. Okay. And I don't care what it is. You can say I'm going to dump in $50,000. What's my interest rate? 1.8%. Interesting. So now if we take a look at the 10-year treasury, we will see that the 10-year treasury is paying 1.874. I don't know if y'all can see that. 1.874 is a 10-year treasury. Isn't that interesting? 1.8% on 50 to 100,000 bucks, 10-year treasury is 1.874, so roughly the same. Yet this account has been open for 8 years. I can add to it as often as I like. It's been open for 8 years, and year 8, what happens if I want access to the money? Do I pay a surrender charge? No. I pay no surrender charge because the account has already been open for the 7 years, which is the surrender charge cycle. So in this case, I dump in, we'll just say $50,000 to add to my initial $5,000. So now I got $55,000 in there. I'm getting 1.8% on my money. It's been open for over 7 years, which is the equivalent roughly of a 10-year treasury. A 10-year treasury is literally a 10-year account. I'm holding that money for 10 years. In this case, I'm getting the equivalent of a 10-year treasury, but I have access to my cash when? Anytime I want. I get the same yield roughly, and I can't guarantee what interest, I have no idea. But I'm basically getting the same yield as a 10-year treasury, but it's completely liquid because I've had the account open over 7 years. Does that make sense? And is guaranteed by USAA. Thus, it will never lose value, ever, ever. I tell you, man, it's no maintenance fees. You do have to pay IRS penalty if you withdraw before 59.5. You can always withdraw up to 10% during the surrender time. Just, I'm telling you, you dump $5,000 in this guy, and you sit back and let that sucker grow. And then come year 8, you're like, what do I do by 3 to 6 month money? I dump it in my annuity. If the annuity is 50,000, if my cash is $50,000, I dump in this annuity, I get 1.8%. I can have access to it within 3 months. I can have access to it within 6 months. If something else looks more attractive in the future from an investment perspective, well, I just pull it out. No penalty. I have to pay income tax because it's an annuity. As long as it's a non-IRA, a part of my annuity will not be taxed because it's return of principal. I'll let you just figure that out. But still, I hope that makes sense. I can't tell you how many people at USAA said, do this. They said, I hate annuities. I said, stop, listen to me. You're making a mistake because your hatred of this certain word, annuity, is making you not see the freaking writing on the wall, how wonderful of a product this is. It's the best thing since sliced bread. So remember, I go back to my barbell thing where I have stocks and cash. Well, this is my cash account here because it pays more than cash by far. It's guaranteed by USAA. I pay no tax on it until I take it out. And I mean, look at that. I can add to it as I want. It's liquid. Oh, man, I love it. So anyway, hope that makes sense. A lot going on there, I know. Let's go to stop share. There we go. A lot going on with that, I know. But, man, I'm telling you, man, don't be one of these guys that say, I hate annuities. And I'm just like, man, you're letting, I don't know what it is. You're letting the mentality of this word. Anyway, so that's what the FRAN is, FRANN. You have to be a USAA member. You can't just get it off the street. So that means you have to be a veteran, the son or daughter of a veteran who's still alive, or you have to be a family member of a veteran who's still alive. And a family member, I don't think it goes sideways. It goes grandpa, the kid, the grandkid, or something like that. But if you're a member of USAA, why you would not look at a FRAN? The only reason you would do is because you don't know about it. And so I've just educated on you. So I'm a huge fan. If insurance companies cover each other, why do their ratings matter? Yeah, because they don't, I mean, they're not going to say, hey, we're covered by principals covered by protective or anything like that. They're still competing for business. It's just at the end of the day, if principal were to go kaput, protective, what's the other ones? Nationwide, they're all going to step up and say, we can't let this happen because that'll doom our whole thing. And it'll all be done to the cover of darkness as well. All right, let's just see. All right, cool. What advice do you have for someone that's starting retirement late? Starting to save for retirement, Justin, or starting actually retiring late? If it's saving for retirement, I just got to start putting money away into Roth without question. That's what I do. I'd say, try whatever your cash flow could be to get some money into a Roth IRA ASAP without question. Don't take debt, pay off debt, but just get some money squirreled away into a Roth IRA. It'll be the best thing you've ever done. Yeah, late sucks, but late is better than later, if that makes sense. TRICARE Prime U.S. Family Health Plan from TRICARE Prime says, I wonder as I wander, medically retired, so premiums are frozen in the year retired, but VAs have Veteran Administration has come a long way in providing health care as Veterans Choice programs too. You got it, Atlas Shrugged. Ayn Rand, good show so far. Thanks for all the videos. Ooh, the fact we talk about Ayn Rand and objectivism, that means we got to talk about God and atheism, right? Right? Oh, man. Is there any thoughts for the future address the demographic changes coming? Frederick Vatti's book predictions. Yeah, I just think at the end of the day, deflation is coming. And when I say deflation, I don't mean like the Great Depression deflation. I'm talking about, just low inflation that's bordering on deflation every now and again. It's a Japan model. Someone had pointed out a good argument that the U.S. won't be as bad as Japan because we do allow for more immigrants and we have a more capitalistic, competitive economy. I agree with that, but I still think the interest rates are going to stay low forever. Essentially, I do think deflation stuff is happening in front of our very eyes, and because I think the idea of interest rates going back to anything like normal is not going to happen. But I also don't think that also means the prices aren't going to go up as much as we've been told either. And I do believe this for health care as well. I'm still going to use 5% for the foreseeable future in my Right Capital software projections on inflating for healthcare. But that won't happen forever. I mean, if you look at it's interesting. I read an article today about a master's degree program. Let me see if I can't find that. It's pretty interesting, actually. This is going to happen across the board. So if you go to Tax Prof blog, hold on just a second. I'll share it with you if I can find it. Hold on just a sec. Diversity and inclusion. Has the master's degree bubble burst? All right, so this is going to happen. This is from Inside Higher Ed. They talk about, you're not going to be able to see this chart, but basically there's like 25, okay, let me just read this. In 2014, what were bullish projections of over 1 million master's degrees conferrals annually by 2024 has dropped to projected 840,000 master's degrees conferrals by 2029. That's almost 200,000 fewer master's degrees a year. And we're just at the beginning of this. So what does that mean? People are getting older. There's going to be less demand for various things of what the demand, housing for college. Whatever, up and coming families use, I don't know, minivans, I don't know. But I mean, just less demand for that stuff and more demand for healthcare. I get that. More demand for adult diapers, I don't know, dentures and stuff like that. But then what's going to happen is baby boomers die off, and these people, we're not nearly where they were. So it's inherently deflationary. It just, you can see it across the board. You've seen all these schools closing, colleges, and I got no qualm with that. The education system has shot themselves in the neck, and couldn't happen to a better group of people to have that just plummet on their face. But at the end of the day, less demand for this, less inflation on education, if not outright deflation there, which would be good. Less people in education. Extrapolate that to any other economy that was built on the premise of an increasing demand, because that's what it used to be. Look at schools. Hell, how much real estate is out there in the school system? They're building schools like crazy, and there's no kids going. Catholic Church, I hate to say it, but look at the churches, the same thing. All this stuff is deflationary. Hold on a second. I think I was going to probably start barking. So hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Let me see. Oh, yeah, he's looking at me. He's giving me the stink eye. He's like, why am I still sitting here? Anyway, so as the baby boomers age and then they start dying off, you're not going to have the same like that. So you have and then you just kind of have like that, if that makes sense. And because of that, I don't see how anyone could sit here and say inflation is inevitable and hyperinflation is just silly. And I do think it's going to be deflationary for sure. And it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. But here's the thing with deflation, what's the best thing you can own? Going back to the flexible retirement annuity, anything that's fixed is a wonderful thing to own. Well, bonds, Josh, yeah, but bonds don't give you the benefit of a better yield relative to the risk you're taking. So CDs, fixed annuities, house, anything that has a fixed asset will be very, very valuable. Now, I still like stocks. That's why I say I think stocks, you're only going to get 7.5% or so over the foreseeable future because there's just not going to be as much growth. That's what I think. I could be wrong. But at the end of the day, where's the growth going to come from? Where is it going to come from? The consumption, the consumer, which drives the economy, is dying off in front of our very eyes. And so when that happens, what's the growth going to come from to prop up 10, 12% rates of returns on stocks? It's not going to be there. The dividends will never come back the way they were either because the dividends are competing with bonds. The bonds are low, the dividends are low too. And cash will be declining as well. So at the end of the day, I like CDs. I like fixed annuities because they're guaranteed. They have an explicit guarantee. I like CDs. They have an explicit guarantee. I like owning real estate. I'm telling you, man, I still think, and I don't know, look, I'm not a real estate guy. I'm not Grant Stephen or Meet Kevin or whoever these other guys are. Mary Hampton would know a hell of a lot more than I would, but there are value out there. We talked when I interviewed Mary about Connecticut. if you're a buyer and you got cash money, there's opportunity out there for sure, without question. So I think there's value there, but you gotta dance around with that a lot more than I can give you a benefit on real estate. It's just not my area. As always, if you find out where the gays are going, go to where the gay people are. The gay people are the boldest people, men. I don't know about women so much because I don't know, but I've known many gay men over the course of my life, and they got balls. There's no other way around that. And you go to where the gays are, because what they do is they go to these places that are run down, where it probably don't do it as much as they used to have to. They used to have to do in the old days because that's a place to be left alone. But they go to these places that they regentrify without the gentrification of the government. They gentrify these communities, get it spiced up for I hate to say it, but for wealthy white people to move in without question, the hipsters. And so we got these University of Virginia grads. Let's just use that. Some rich upper middle class lady who lives in Charlottesville, and she goes, I want to live in DC. And she's like, well, I don't want to live over there, but whoa, look at all these people in Adams Morgan. I'm going to go live in Adams Morgan because it's cool now. It's hipster. Yeah, in the old days, it wasn't like that. South Capitol Street wasn't like that. And who fixed that place up? Arlington, Virginia, Carolina Boulevard wasn't like that. Greenville, South Carolina. I don't know about the gays in Greenville, but I know Greenville, that did get gentrified. And I don't know if that's from above the government or whatnot, but man, you can find some freaking value in real estate that could really be beneficial to you in the long run. I tell you about my dad, not a good businessman, but he had a nose for real estate. And he told me that. He said, go to where the gays are going. He bought a house in Del Rey in Alexandria. And he's handy. He was a carpenter in South Carolina, San Francisco, where he met my mom in the 60s. Anyway, so he always knew how to build stuff, and he bought this crappy old house, and he let me live there rent free when I got out of the army. I was in college for about a year, and it was run down. Jack Taylor Toyota was literally right next to us, and the service department, all that. But he said this is going to be booming. It's right by a metro stop. I mean, you could walk to the. It was right where the Redskins. We're trying to pull the new RFK Stadium. They're trying to put it right there on Route 1. And I forgot what they call it, where all the trains are. Hold on a second. Hey, would somebody just let Pablo go pee? Hey, thanks, babe. Anyway, so he bought this house and he fixed it up and he sold it for a pretty penny. If he would have held it, he would have sold it for a hell of a lot more. But that's what I'm saying. But it takes guts to do this stuff, and he did the sweat equity to make the money on it. But in the interim, if he didn't let me live there rent free, he could have rented it out for a decent amount of money, for sure, because the hipsters are starting to move into the community. And now, if you look at that Del Rey section of Alexander, man, dude, it's freaking fantastic. It is fantastic. Not a Trump supporter to be seen. So if you're not like an old Trumpster, you'll fit in real well in the Del Rey section of Alexandria. But anyway, so real estate, I'm a fan of, as long as you don't take on huge amounts of debt. Remember, debt is bad in low interest and deflationary times. Debt is good in inflationary times. So being the debtor, the person who borrowed the money. In inflationary times, you want to be the borrower. I don't even want to, because I think debt makes you a slave. But at the end of the day, debt is bad in deflationary times. Debt is bad. Anything that's fixed is bad if you're the borrower. Anything that's fixed is good if you're the lender. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, off a tangent there, but would it be best after 60 years just to shack up with the lady instead of marrying her so you don't lose your Social Security through a marriage adjustment? What's the rules on that? Once you're after 60 and divorced, you can still, I can't remember how, I just have to look. I can't remember. I don't remember. There's a rule on that. After 60 and you remarry, you don't. I have to look. I can't remember. Men go on their own way. That's what it was. You got it, Rajiv. You got it, Mark. Harry, my man Harry. I haven't seen you around for a while, so welcome. All insurance is a bit of a scam. I could kind of see that. I don't know. It's a scam, but I tell you, man, having life insurance or homeowners insurance when it's needed is a wonderful thing for sure. Veterans Choice is available since Trump actually funded the program. That damn Trump. What's he doing for our veterans? Doesn't he know he should be worried about climate change? So my man Moon says he heard something about veteran community care. Don't know anything about that. It's interesting. Scott said his parents used to have two remotes, him and his sister. Whack, turn the channel. My wife used to be my wife. My wife was her mom's go-to gopher. Go down there and get me a pack of Cools. My wife, this is back in the day where you could go buy cigarettes. It didn't matter. You remember those cigarette machines? I always forget that I'm a lot older than a lot of people on YouTube. Man, you used to go buy cigarette. There's just been a cigarette machine. You put like 4 quarters in and pull it out. And, they didn't care if you're 13 years old or 28,000 years old. Anyway, my wife would go down and go up to the local, what she said was High's Pharmacy in Virginia, I think is what she said, and buy her mom a pack of Cools and something else. Tell you a story. God, I love my wife. Oh, man, don't tell her I told you the story. Oh my goodness. So my wife's got 8 brothers and sisters. Gotta make sure she's not listening. All right. And her dad died when she was young. So her mom is raising all these people on a Kmart salary. And I think her dad might have a small government pension, wasn't much. And so there's some crappy old, I think, Chevette or something like that. And her mom smokes like a chimney because everyone smoked back then. Cools. Her mom was like 6 foot, spoke Chinese, but just a cranky old lady. I loved her to death. She was a fantastic woman. I love her to death, but she's a cranky old lady, man. You can't blame her. Apparently they went through McDonald's drive-thru. My wife's in the back seat, and my wife's able to get an ice cream cone from McDonald's. And her mom drove off and had the window down because she's smoking, and she flicked the ashes out. And my wife had the window down too because they didn't have AC in a Chevette, and the ash went through and got my wife's ice cream. And Charlotte's like, "Mom, why can you not smoke when I'm eating ice cream?" She goes, "Well, roll up your window if you don't want the ashes on your ice cream." My wife's like, "But it's freaking hot in here." She goes, "What do you want me to do? But you're like, you got ice cream." Oh my God. Oh, I can't say it the way she did. It's the fun. Oh my goodness, man. Oh man, is there anything better than growing up white trash? It is awesome. It's because you're sitting there thinking, you're sitting there with your little ice cream, ashes coming through on the ice cream. You're like, it's like anyway. All right. I just had to say that. You said white trash. Look, it's for us poor whites, that's some of a term of endearment. Just listen to David Allen Coe. Listen to Hank, not Hank Jr., I guess Hank Jr., but Hank 3. Lots of people. I know I didn't just see Mary Hampton say she loved the Chiefs. What the hell, Mary? Freaking wrong answer, dude. Mary Hampton says she likes the Chiefs. Yeah. All right. Had to hold the antenna too, right, man? At least the Steelers aren't cheaters. Ooh, never heard that before, Roxanne. Wow, you got us. I'm just joking you. It's all right. It's all good. Let's see. I got 5. Let's see. What am I gonna do with all these rings? Notice all these rings I have because I was on the team. What's a new strategy now? The stretch IRA is gone. I'll talk about some strategies, Harry. I still think life insurance is a wonderful strategy for leaving. If you're trying to leave a legacy, the problem is I frankly am not that keen. A lot of people aren't that keen on leaving a legacy. I think it gets overblown leaving a legacy. Take care of number one first. Absolutely. The strategy would be, reduce your IRA contributions without question. Get a taxable brokerage account with low dividends and low to no turnover in an ETF without question. Now, if you got a 401k and you're getting a match, by all means, hell, it'd be insane not to take advantage of the match. A lot of people don't have a match, so don't do it unless you're in a high tax bracket and you're certain you'll be in a lower tax bracket. I mean, then do the match or do the 401k to reduce your taxable income. But if you're in a 12% tax bracket now, you're not taking a standard deduction. You're not taking itemized deductions. I can almost guarantee. And the standard deduction is you're not paying much in tax today. You just died. So don't bother with the deferred accounts. Had a lady email me or on the YouTube channel, said, what should she do? I think she said she was making 40,000 a year or something like that. And I said, don't do anything. Just put, what I meant, do a Roth or do a taxable account, but don't worry about a 401. She was trying to do an individual 401k. I said, no, stop that. There's no benefit at all to that. Do a Roth or do a taxable account, but don't mess. She goes, really? I thought it was, I had to, everyone says do a 401k. No, because she's self-employed. Kathy says, black and white small TV, the picture would roll. Yeah, that's right. When the dial broke, yes, that's right, Kathy. Man, you had that little white plastic with a thing in the middle. You know what I'm saying? It's like two little, like with that notch in the middle, the little white plastic. You have to go in there with pie, man. Oh, I forgot about that. That is with the pliers. Yeah, the pliers on top of the TV. Oh, but we're so much worse off now than we were. Here in Maine, I wonder as I wander, Central Maine Power is horrible. I've LED'd everywhere, and my electricity bill has increased by $80 a month. Smart meters are a scam. Wow. So my man, I wonder as I wander, lives in Maine. He uses CMP, Central Maine Power. My mom told me to buy that stock in 1993, if you can believe that, brother. 1993, she said, buy CMP. And I owned it through a drip thing, and I sold it about 2 years later when I needed to scratch. I don't know how I wonder if your electricity bills are increasing. Smart meters are a scam. Pancho Pablo, man, he's around. Can SBP pay out to dependent children? I don't think so, Moon. I don't think so. Possible to 1035 and a Fran? Absolutely, man. So 1035 is an annuity to an annuity, tax-free exchange. Annuity to an annuity. So you can absolutely 1035 to a Fran. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Never get a joint annuity. FYI, never get a joint annuity. I have a blog post on that. I'll link to it after we're done here. I can't link here, but never, ever, ever get a joint annuity, please. Another Chiefs fan. Damn, where are all these people coming from? USAA raised his homeowners insurance 22%. Yeah, because they have to advertise. Freaking advertise like crazy. No, don't get me started on USA advertising. It's nuts. Orange County, California is where MGTOW is. So you're not my same MGTOW from Chicago. Yeah. Is that a minute? Okay. Next. San Diego. Shoulders feeling pretty good, Pete. Thanks for asking. I was actually doing 20-pound dumbbells the other day. That was the first time I got that much. I'm a little bit tight. It felt good. Got under an empty bar. So I had a 45-pound bar, which I was doing, and 20-pound dumbbells. And it felt great. I haven't worked out literally in almost a year now. February is 2019 is the last time I got under the bar. I actually was able to put my hand on it because I still have 275 on the squat rack. And it just got dusty. It went like this. And I said, ooh, yeah. So I'll take those weights off and hopefully start doing some light squats too. So I'm stoked, man. Thanks for asking. It doesn't feel great, but I'm able to do, that still hurts a little bit, but I do all this. And the doc said, just, 5 pounds increase, 5 pounds a week. I think I'll go a little bit less than that. But if I could be up to, putting 25 pounders plates on a bar and just do overhead presses with, 95 pounds, I'll be pretty happy. My goal of the 1,000-pound club is now gone because I'm not going to try to get strong. I was actually shooting for 1,100 club. I was well on my way, but I won't do that anymore. I'm just getting old, man. As you get old, your body does it gets torn down. And because of it, I think I don't want to go back to the doc. Let's just put it that way. But Catherine says, what kind of feedback on my online course? I've had a number of people buy it. I've had a couple of people said it's great, but I haven't heard anything, haven't had any chargebacks. I haven't heard anything negative on it, which is good. A couple of people I asked for, my man Daniel and some other people said it definitely isn't. What's the word I'm looking for? Overly professional, and I don't want it to be overly professional. I think there's 3 places in there where it cuts out for a second when I clap my hands. There's 3. I did 43 videos. So there's 3 places in there where the sound goes out for a second. Hold on just a second. There you go, big man. Yeah, you got your toy. Oh yeah, I got Gingy. Oh, come on, bring Gingy. Hold on, you gotta bring Gingy. Here you go. Yeah, I got it. Oh, here we go. Come on, buddy. Yeah, he's got his toy. But so far so good. Oh, just remember today is the 29th. So you got 2 more days to get it at a 50% discount. 50% discount. And remember, there's a 30-day money back guarantee. So I don't want to be the sales guy here, but if you're gonna buy the course, freaking buy it now. Save $250. I mean, if you want to spend $500, that's fine. I don't expect to sell a whole lot at $500. But whatever. It's for me, it's worth it because the time and effort I put into it. And you got the 30-day money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, I don't care. Just say, Josh, you stink. I want my money back. You don't even have to say you stink. But at the end of the day, it's $250. Just make sure when you go onto the sales page, the checkout page, you type in half off, no space, half off to get the discount code. So, look, I'm not going to sell you on it. Just if you're looking at retirement planning, I think you should buy it. Absolutely. And you get $250 off if you do it by the end of this year. So, but I appreciate the question. Yes, Pop Stew, it is still half off. Absolutely. Yeah, the old people aren't consuming anymore that much as I would keep saying. Absolutely. And the numbers are so, it's funny reading. So reading my book by Frederick Vatiz, I also read a couple articles from UK. Every single industrialized country, you see the same thing. Germany, Canada, UK, US, and one other one, I forgot. France maybe, but they all go down. Spending goes down dramatically in all these places. It's not just a US phenomenon. And I find that to be insightful. And I find that to be, pisses me off when all these people act like that's not true. And yet you see it in all these different places. Someone emailed me, I forgot who it was. He's reading that Frederick Vatiz book. I forgot what it's called, man, but it's a contrarian perspective on retirement planning. I forgot what it's called, but anyway, he says, Josh, it sounds like you wrote the book. And I love hearing that. It made me feel good because, this guy is freaking awesome. But it just is, you have these studies, not just from the Bureau of Labor Statistics here in the US, but the Canadian version, the German version, the France, I don't remember if it's France or not, the UK version. They all show the same thing. Your spending declines as you age. I just don't know why we sit here and say, it's just weird. It's ignorance. Ignorance. People are so, well, actually, I'm listening to a podcast. It's more than ignorance. And you know me, I'm a libertarian. I vote on the Republican side, generally speaking. And I am a Trumpster. I love Trumpster, so just don't subscribe now. But any guy can take on the uniparty establishment, which is what Trump is doing. And we know how good he's doing, but how much the Republican establishment hates him, which makes me happy. If John Boehner and Paul Ryan both hate you and you're Republican, you're doing something right. All right, so anyway, I'm listening to a podcast from Reason Magazine, and it's, let me bring it up here right quick. It's right here. All right, so it's Nick Gillespie from Reason, How to Fight. The guy had written a book, The Power of Bad, and the negativity effect. This guy had written his book, The Negativity Effect. I forgot his name off the top of my head, but he talks about, he talks a lot about in terms of climate change that everyone likes to feed off people's fear, and feed off people's fear is how you can sell things to people. That's just a fact. And anyway, this guy talks about it, how we have a tendency to be, for every one bad thing that occurs in our life, we need 4 good things to overcome the bad, if that makes sense. Daniel Kahneman, and I got a book on him back there. He did a study on that with Amos Tversky. Kahneman won the Nobel Prize, where they talked about, your negative, your bad stuff is 2 times more devastating than your good stuff is positive. If that makes sense. And this guy says there's actually studies that say it's 4 to 1. And so it's just a negativity. We are just bound by negativity. It's just all there is to it. And people who have immoral things to sell you are preying on that, no other way around it. And it sucks. I see a huge, right on. So I see a huge demand for senior healthcare facilities. How does one go about investing in the real estate? Probably a real estate investment trust, man. Hell, in Georgia, they're freaking opening up these real estate places all over the place. It's insane. Tom says he's old and he consumes Bud Light. Man, I would not be consuming Bud Light if I was still drinking beer. My pint of Guinness. You take, what did you put? Bass on the bottom and Guinness on top. That's real black and tan. Bass on the bottom and Guinness on top. Oh, man, I could drink those. Oh, man, they taste good. CB in the Michigan boonies says USA homeowners insurance has not gone up. I wonder if MGTOWs has gone up simply because he lives in California and there's regulations going on. Remember, New Jersey had regulations for auto insurance that USA was getting out. I think they might even got out of the state of New Jersey. Florida has regulations. I mean, a lot of these places have unique regulations that can really affect you badly. So I wonder if that's one of the things. I don't know. If it's California, it would not surprise me now. If it's California, it would not surprise me if there's some significant regulations on homeowners insurance. I don't know. Bruins and Sabres. That sounds like a game. You wouldn't believe what that place looks like now. Can't buy a house under 800,000 and new go. Tom's talking about Arlington or Alexandria. That's crazy. Can't buy a house under 800,000 now and new condos. Tell you what, let's see if we can't find it. Well, bear with me just 1 second, my friends. We're going to look up and see if we can't find my old house my dad used to live in at 206 East Duncan. I'll share it with you. I have Alexandria right here. Let's see if we can't see this. And we're going to go to street map. All right. Okay. Oh, man. All right. Let me get back up here. All right. So I'm going to share with you my old, this is, man. All right. So there's a house we used to live in right here. I hope you all can see that. That my dad bought. It didn't look anything like that back then. This house, I was in a kind of hardcore metal band, and we used to practice the basement down here. And no one cared because this was a split. Maybe 4 families were living in here. And one day I came up and we just get drunk and play and our music down here. And we actually played a show, believe it or not, when I was in college. But anyway, I came up and I think I had to go to the bathroom or something like that. And I just remember going outside. I thought I heard a noise. And there's like an 8-year-old girl who had like 4 empty gallons of water that she's filling up on our water right here. So we had a little spigot and she was filling up water in there. I said, hey, what are you, and she was a young girl. I said, hey, what are you, I didn't care. She goes, what are you doing? She goes, my mom said, if I could use some water from you because they cut ours off. That might give an example what kind of place this was, if that makes sense. And then you had Jack Taylor Toyota right here. And then, right, if you go down, and there's the City of Alexandria Police, but they had yep, right there. Now it's used cars. Anyway, in the Metro, it was, anyway, hold on just a second. There was another, right here was the YMCA. Oh, they got Walgreens in there now. So if you go right here, there's a YMCA, and they used to have AA meetings in there. And this is, I'll show you where the Redskins were Redskins were trying to play. Oh, man, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, if you go up a little bit, now I forgot where I'm at here. Okay, there's a giant food up here. And the Redskins, it's not going to let me do it, but the Redskins were trying to build a stadium up there on Route 1. And there's all this graffiti up in here. And I'll never, we're trying to find one time. It said, chilling to the utmost of the graffiti. And, you know, it's not upmost, it's utmost. My sister and I kind of got chuckled at that. Oh, yeah, here we go. There's a CVS. I don't know if that Y is still there. Oh, it's an Aldi now. They used to be a Giant. Where's a Safeway? I can't remember. And the Y was right. Yeah, there it was right there. And that doesn't look like a Y anymore. By the way, this is a new trend, apparently, these tricycle baby strollers. I've seen that all over the place with just 3 tires. Bear with me just a second, my friends, because the metro stop, oh, look at all these, none of this was up there. You're going through walk through time with your old buddy Josh. The metro stop was right over here, if I'm not mistaken. And that's George Washington Middle School. Anyway, the metro stop was right over here. And because the metro stop was right there, it was walking distance. And man, anyway, you're just a freaking hop and skip away from DC. You could get on the metro right here. You can see the Washington Monument. Crazy. Anyway, that's a little bit, let's see, stop share. All right, there we go. Oops. There I am. Hold on just a second. There we go. So that's a little bit of background. All right. Let me just see consumer bushling. Yeah, right on, Pete. Thanks. Does anyone know if another insurance company offers a flexible annuity? Rick, American Express and with Ameriprise, they used to have. I had a client who had one at Ameriprise who came into my office when I was at USAA, said she was going to close it out. I said, hells you are, because I had a 5% guaranteed minimum and she could add anything to it. I said, no, you're not. And I remember we moved money from her USAA stuff to that American Express annuity because it was their version of the Fran, but it's paying 5% guaranteed minimum. That was crazy. I remember getting on the horn and calling them up. I said, I just want to make sure now, American Express says she has 5%. And they said, yep. And we did. Someone had asked, maybe it was you, Rick, about 1035 exchange. Or maybe it's D Moon. And so we did a 1035 exchange of like $200,000 from her USAA annuity to the American Express. Marie says, as she watched videos on YouTube, she's amazed how many channels have between 2 and 200 subscribers. Like financial advice on how to get a good deal on buying a vehicle. Amazing Steelers fan forever. Okay, so SVP only for disabled and elected child only coverage. Okay, did not know that. Let's see. Love your dog. Yeah, right on, Raka. That dog is what? Look at him. Oh, I love that guy. Oh man. Hit the thumbs up, says CB, and he's coming at you from Michigan. You don't want to disappoint a Michigan retired veteran, do you? Bruins 3-1 because the Bruins had a couple bad losses there. Pete Single, 49 years old, makes about 58 a year in San Diego. Man, you can get by on that, Pete. 58K a year in San Diego. Damn, that's good. Someone said it. Yeah, exactly. I didn't make 58K a year. My man Sam, right on. All right, Sam. I'm glad to see Sam here. Sam. I don't care what they say. Sam's a good guy, Navy guy, but we won't hold that against him. Roommate in a small apartment. Yeah, right on. 22% bracket could be the low one of the future. Yeah, I agree. All right. Seemed like I had something else I wanted to say, and then we'll let you all get out of here. Yes. Paul, you'll be 7.5 in January 2020. Will you still have to take your first RMD this year? Man, I don't know. I would still take distributions. I'm telling you, the point is reduce your distributions before it's made mandatory. That's the point we want to do. Absolutely. Go Navy and Buckeyes. And right on, brother. All right, so Clemson or LSU? I have to say LSU just looks tough. Bruins are up 3-2 with 12 minutes to go. All right, All right, so I am saying LSU. Roxanne, I can't like the Penguins. Come on, man. Oh, yeah. No. The Bees. Gotta love the Bees and the Caps. Now, look, we lived in DC for many a year. So when the Caps won this with a Super Bowl, when they won the Stanley Cup in 2 years ago, that was freaking awesome. We used to go to a Caps game. It's funny. When I first moved to the DC area, I had an Indian guy named Samir. It was like my first friend in DC. And he was, he had just moved to the US when he was 8 years old. And somehow he took to hockey and he loved it. He knew everything about hockey. And so it's kind of a short, stout Indian guy, big, thick glasses. And he loved hockey. It's crazy. So we went to go see the Caps back at the old Cap Center. And then another friend of mine was a black guy, Mikey. He loved the hockey too. And we went to go see the Caps. And I wasn't at that game, but during a hockey game, he got hit with a puck in his head, had to get stitches, bled like crazy. They gave him 2 free tickets to the next playoff game for the Caps. And he always kept a puck right here. He had a denim jacket. He always had his puck that almost killed him. His puck is pretty cool. It's just kind of funny because, black guy from Silver Spring, Maryland, and an Indian guy from India liked hockey. And they knew more about it than me, a white kid from Maine. I was like, well, that's crazy. Anyway, so we used to go to the Cap Center, and then when they moved to the Verizon Center, it was fun, raised the prices. But seeing Alex Ovechkin win the cup that was fantastic. But I'll never forget 2011, man. The Bruins, that was just. So remember the Sox? They beat the Yankees after 2003 with Aaron Boone pulled a Bucky Dent on us, and it's just doomsday. We're thinking this, it's just the Sox, man, and that sucked. 2004, they came back down 3-0 against the Spanx, and they won with Mariano Rivera, which is the best pitcher in the history of baseball. Insane. The Bruins lost to the Flyers after being up 3-0 in round 1 in 2010. 2011, they come back and win the cup, being down 2-0 against Vancouver in the Stanley Cup Finals. They win the cup. Oh, man. And then, of course, the Pats. In the Pats, we were 2-14 in 1983 when they drafted Tony Eason. And then we went to the Super Bowl. We beat Miami with Craig James in 1985. The first time in Miami they won in Miami since 1972. And ironically, the Dolphins just beat us at Foxborough today for the first time in 10 years or something like that. Then they got spanked by the Bears, 46-10. Then basically never heard from the Patriots. They had one little small run with stinking Pete Carroll, who I can't stand. Was he the coach? Anyway, and then 2000 comes around and the Patriots win 6 freaking Super Bowls and lost 3. It's insane. Anyway, let's see. You think LSU only wins by 10 now? Yeah. Monty thinks it'd be close too. I think it's going to be LSU. I say I'm going with 32-13 LSU. All right. Suppose you don't like Marie says her last car is 190,000 miles in 16 years. Yeah, LSU. No one's saying Clemson. Yeah, James said not going to crappy old job tomorrow. Does that mean what does that mean, James? Does that mean you're hanging it up, or does that mean you're or you just have a day off? I hope that be first day of retirement. Friggin' right on, man. Right on. That's freaking awesome. That's awesome, brother. Hey, my man, drawing a blanket first name, Heflin. Kansas. I said Kansas. I'm drawing a blank. My man, Heflin Auto Repair, and I think Kansas. I recommend them. Never used. I don't have it fix my car, but I think it's Kansas, Missouri, Kansas. I think it's Kansas. Yeah, Tim Thomas, man. You still, even though I follow questionable sports teams. Symphony X, never even heard of them, Pete. The best pro metal band ever. No, never heard of them. And you're my age too, man. You're 49. Yeah, man. Boston sports. Remember Darryl? That came from the Red Sox. Darryl. Remember that? All right. Well, I guess Prague metal. I don't know, man. All right, friends. 2 hours in, we're done. I appreciate y'all being here. Look, just 2020 is going to be kick-ass take names. Look at James. My man James is leading the way here. Booner Kempe. That's got to be German, right? Booner Kempe, is that German? James leading the way. He's saying, friggin' hang up the boots and enjoy it. And, we got a couple other guys on here who I know. Harry, he hung up his boots and joined it with his beautiful, his better half. A number of you guys. The Al right there, retired in October. Get used to every day being a Saturday, right? There's Doug and that Doug, right on, man. I mean, all these guys. When are you finalizing any adjustments to right? What are you talking like in terms of Secure Act or something like that, or in terms of what I use for returns? I'm going to keep it at stocks at 7.5. I guess I got to raise cash, right? Because the Fed funds rate is at 2. I don't know, man. So right now I got 1% on cash, 3% on bonds, 7.5% on stocks. General inflation at 3, healthcare inflation at 5. See, I kind of like that just because it's kind of like a conservative perspective, Warren. Yeah. Harley, right on, Harley. The only thing I could think is I'd reduce bonds to 2.5 and reduce inflation to 2.5. Man, I don't know. I got to think on that. Hold on just a second. 10-year, I think I got to do that. Hold on just a second. 10-year treasury. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to reduce bonds to 2.5 and inflation at 2.5. The 10-year treasury. Yeah. And Kansas City, Kansas, right on. So Harley Heflin, auto repair in Kansas City, Kansas. If you, by the way, guys, if y'all running a business of some sort and you're on here, I don't have any problem if you give yourself a shout out, like Mary Hampton Real Estate in Westport, Connecticut. Harley Heflin, auto repair, Kansas City, Kansas. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I am part of the member support brigade from the Survival Podcast. And when I, every now and again, when I want to do business with like-minded people. So I look up on Jack Spurko's people who advertise on this thing and say, if I'm looking for I am a friend of Bill W. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. 25 May 1997, MGTOW, but who's counting? Well, I am. 25 May 1997. That was not the last time alcohol touched these beautiful lips, though. The last time alcohol touched these beautiful lips is my wife and I went to an American Legion when we lived in Dayton, Virginia. They had a dinner of some sort. And I remember the guy came back. He couldn't speak English very well. I forgot what it was at, some restaurant. We didn't have our own place to do this. Anyway, long story short, he gave me, I asked for a ginger ale. I guess he thought I wanted ginger ale with some alcohol in it. And so I took a drink. I said, whoa. And for the rest of the night, I was pretending like I was drunk. I just took a drink. I said, whoa. And I can't remember if I swallowed. I think I did swallow it, but it's just a sip from a straw. And that was the last thing. Tom Major, best monitor online. Right on, Tom. You're a good man. I don't care what they say, big man. I appreciate you being here, man. But anyway, so that was the last time. That was in like 2003, but that was by accident. But I kept pretending like my wife said, man, I'm drunk, man. I'm drunk. That joke got old pretty quick. Anyway, so where can I get 2%? Well, Sam, look at USAA. I'm telling you, that freaking Fran golf clapping. That Fran, man, you're a veteran. Go to get a USAA. You get a safe return, $600,000, 2%. Without even blinking an eye. I can't remember how old you are, Sam. The drawback is if you're under the age of 59 and a half, you will be charged 10% premature distribution like an IRA. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Tom Major, right on, Tom. He's a good man. I don't care what they say. My man Jerry, I notice is not on here. Yeah, because Jerry's too busy running his own channel. GW Life TV. Jerry, forgetting his last name, but Jerry runs his own YouTube channel, GW Life TV. Is that what it's called? Jerry GW Life TV. And it's interesting. I like Jerry. He's from California and he's thinking about moving to Texas. Yeah, right on, D. Right on, Moon. Just be careful on if you're under the age of 59 and a half on those annuities. All right, my friends, I'm going to get out of here, take the monkey out here for a small walk, and blessings to you, guy. I appreciate it, man. It's dude. Lastly, Even Developer says can't tell how much I've helped him with his retirement or her. I can't believe how much you all have helped me with my own financial capacity. It's yeah. Look, I'm an emotional guy. Some people don't like it. I'll probably start crying like a big fat baby. It's the Irish in me. Oh, Harry's still plugged away. All right, that's fine. But the German side of me is kept way in the back of my left brain. The Irish in me comes out. Anyway, I can't tell you how grateful I am. It's all there is to it, man. You guys are it's nuts. I mean, there's always some idiots. I get it. Trolls gonna be trolls. I try not to let it piss me off too much. But whatever, man. Life's too short to get it. Life's too short to drink cheap wine. That's what my friend in Virginia used to have a T-shirt. Life's too short to drink cheap wine. Life's too short to let the trolls bother you. But for me, it's YouTubes are good, and getting to be friends with so many people and I've never met. Like Tom, I guarantee if Tom and I, or hell, Sam, if hey Harry, right on, Harry. For these guys, Bruins, 4 minutes left. If Tom or Harry or Sam was ever in Georgia and I was ever in Texas or Oklahoma or Ohio, I guarantee we could have lunch together and shoot the crap and it'll all be good. It's Mary Landis, Marie Landis, Mary Hampton. It's cool, man. All right, I'm going to take him out. We'll see you guys. Blessings. Happy New Year and kick ass and take names in 2020. Thanks. Now I got to figure out with Pablo how to stop this thing. All right. I think we just go there. Where do we go? Oops, not really sure what we do. All right, so I'm gonna click on that guy. Yeah, am I doing it right? Yeah, right there. Okay. I think. Pablo, what am I doing right there?